Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee. I am detecting a quorum with myself, Vice Chair Cash, Councilmember Rutherford, Chair Toombs, and
Evans is my name.
Toombs, Councilmember Dr. Evans, or Dr. Wiener, as well as Chair Evans.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. Pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated section 844.112, time is set apart at the beginning of every single meeting for public comment. There's nobody signed up for comment today, so we'll go ahead and move into our agenda. I do have a proposed consent agenda, which includes items 1 and 3. I'll go ahead and read those into the record, and then if anybody wishes to move anything from consent, we'll go from there. So first is RS 2025-1374, a resolution supporting the passage of the John Lewis R. Voting Rights Advancement Act of 2025 in the United States Congress. Sponsors Swaravo, Ellis, Taylor, Gamble, Toombs, Stiles, and Prep T. Next we also have RS 2025-1376, the resolution recognizing July 16th, 2025 as International Drag Day in Nashville and Davidson County. Sponsors Hill, Gad, Bradford, and Benedict. Does anybody wish to remove anything from consent? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? So we've got 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for the consent agenda. Okay. Next we have RS 2025-1375, a resolution recognizing the YWCA of Nashville and Middle Tennessee for their efforts in standing against injustice. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and properly seconded. So the reason I didn't put this one on consent was sort of just to discuss some of the reporting around both the YM and the YW. So understanding that the YMCA and the YWCA are separate entities, and the work that the YWCA, this particularly around victims of domestic violence and trafficking, is crucially important. But I did want to take an opportunity for us to discuss some of the recent reporting around the YMCA downtown and some of their labor practices, and sort of giving voice to that in this committee, even though it's tangentially related to this resolution, but thought it was appropriate to, for lack of a better phrase, call out the unfair labor practices and essentially not paying their laborers for the work that they did in building and renovating the downtown Y. So I just thought that was important for us to discuss and give voice to. But with that being said, is there any other comments or from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Next, we have a late filed resolution. This is so this is a resolution approving Amendment 3 to a Transportation Alternative Program TAP grant from the Tennessee Department of Transportation to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Parks and Recreations Department to provide funding for the construction of a multimodal path and elevation boardwalk from the Cumberland River pedestrian bridge to the Opry Mills complex. I do have a copy of the resolution before us. Do we have anybody from Parks here today? Well, I do see Councilmember Gregg here. Could you tell us the nature and the purpose behind it being late filed?
This is to extend a grant deadline date that we did not realize was upon us. And so this is the large part of the initial funding, so obviously we want to retain that funding. Yeah. So that's the late file.
Okay, so without it being, or without us moving forward on it and suspending the rules, I'm assuming we would lose that funding. Is that correct? Okay. Having heard that, any discussion from the committee? Seeing none, those in favor of suspending the rules for this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We've got 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting to suspend the rules. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next we are moving into Board and Commission appointees and nominees. Folks in this section will be interviewed by us today, and then subject to a subsequent vote next meeting. So first, we have the Electric Power Board appointment of Ian Prunty. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's as close as you need to be. Prunty is
Prunty,
correct. But that is
for a term expiring on July 1st, 2030.
correct. Is this chair for me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Would you like a parking pass or a parking validation or a bus pass?
Bus pass.
Perfect. Hey. Also, my last name's Prepti, so I understand people
All right.
mispronouncing it all the time.
No worries.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being appointed to here today?
I do not at this time.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about why you want to serve.
Yeah, I have long been interested in the energy industry. When I went back to graduate school at Vanderbilt, I focused on kind of social enterprise around the energy industry. So how can we deliver power, but do so with a social good in mind? And so that kind of sparked a career path I've been on. And so I think that's a big driver. I also think as citizens here in Nashville, we have a real privilege. We have one of the biggest municipal power providers in the country. So it's really rare that a city this size would have a public power provider. And what we typically see with public power providers is that customer satisfaction is higher, participation and engagement can be higher. That's from J.D. Power Associates. So the opportunity to serve and support that is something I'm really keen to do, and hopefully I can leverage some of the experience I have to support that. And I think we fill out kind of like maybe some questions when we were asked to submit and share our interest. And one kind of piece of Nashville history that I think is super interesting is 1963 at the Vanderbilt commencement, President Kennedy actually flipped the switch for, I think it was Percy Priest. And he also, at the same time, gave this speech on the educated citizen. And a portion of that, he talks about the responsibility of the educated citizen. And I really think that means for us in Nashville, and he says this, or in the state or in the federal level, to take what knowledge we have and apply that to the things that we can do, and this seems like a good opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And I really appreciated what you said about like having the social good in mind with providing this service to our citizens. And on that note, I believe that when it comes to NES and utilization, providing power services to our community, sort of the backbone of NES and providing that are linemen, the folks who are out there every day grinding. Yeah. And I know that SEIU just engaged in some successful negotiations with NES, and so I'm curious as to your views around labor negotiations and whether you're supportive of unions, and sort of if you have any opinions on being able to negotiate with our unions to make sure that we're providing not only just the best possible services to our service area, but taking care of the folks who take care of us every day.
Absolutely. I appreciate that question. And I think, I was actually in the NES meeting where they were sharing the news of that agreement being reached, and what a testament for both parties that an agreement could be reached in such an efficient fashion. I think that representation of labor is important in any industry, but particularly in an industry where people are really putting their lives on the line to protect the common good. Obviously I would be supportive of that. And two examples, I think one of the first NES meetings I sat in for, I'm a bit of a nerd for this, so I did it 10 years ago, and a worker had suffered significant damages and was awarded for those damages, but it was from a high voltage instance, and it really left an impact on me. The other thing is, if you ever are with a utility during a severe weather event where there's storm duty, we were actually just chatting about this, that's when you see that the leadership of a utility is across the board, and you see these line men, line women, taking these risks and doing pretty heroic things to deliver power for us, which we take for granted so often. Yeah.
And then on the topic of negotiations, curious about your views or how you would approach sort of negotiations with TVA, since knowing that NES purchases the majority or basically all of the power that we utilize through TVA, and engaging in negotiations with them for sort of price setting of what the standard rates are going to be, and also understanding some of the issues that TVA has faced in the past. So I'm thinking about Christmas 2020. 2022, whenever we had multiple days of 0 or sub-zero temperatures, and there was essentially a failure at some of the TVA plants, which resulted in us experiencing sort of rolling blackouts, and understanding that our NES board and our electric power board don't necessarily have any oversight or control over TVA operations, but sort of just how you would how you as a board member would engage with TVA on trying to negotiate to establish sort of better standards and ensuring that we are getting the most for our dollars that we're purchasing through TVA.
Yeah, I think a couple thoughts there. Maybe on my professional and academic background and how I could leverage that first. Study negotiations at Vanderbilt, probably the most useful class I had in the business school or classes, and certainly could leverage that. A lot of my professional work is working with contract negotiations with large energy companies in the oil and gas space, maybe manufacturing space. So definitely a motion I'm familiar with. And then I think you call up a lot of history that's accurate and something to be considered, whether it's making sure that NES and the citizens of Nashville are covered during severe weather, that we have the infrastructure, it's in place, it's been tested, and also that we're getting appropriately priced power, and probably power that's delivered that's reflective of what the city and the citizens expect. I think going farther on how I would approach negotiations is probably a little premature. And I'd also note that we've got a lot of leadership from NES here, and I might point you towards them for some of that. But I think it's an important role. So I think NES has about, and the NES team can correct me, but maybe 10% to 12% when I looked at peak demand consumption is coming from NES. That's an outsized role in the valley, and it gives you the right, I think, to express your expectations and negotiate with TVA.
Perfect, thank you. Anything further from the committee?
You asked what I wanted to ask about working with union employees, and I appreciate your acknowledgement that, especially in industries where the safety is a concern, that making sure that channel of communication and looking out for employee safety is I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Yeah, it's paramount. Sure.
Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you want to share with us?
No, I'm really excited by the opportunity, and I appreciate the mayor's office offering the nomination, and can't wait to do what I can to help out.
All right, perfect.
Thanks, y'all.
Anything
Nice to
further
meet
from the
everybody.
committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We've got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks, y'all. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, next we have the Hospital Authority Board appointment of Alfonso Harvey for a term expiring on July 11th, 2026. Mr. Harvey, thank you so much for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
I drove.
Okay. It's okay, it's okay. We'll let it slide this one time. Mr. Harvey, are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being appointed to here today?
No.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you want to serve.
Well, I am a North Nashville resident. Came here, went to Vanderbilt, and have lived in North Nashville since 1998. I'm also in healthcare. I own a medical equipment company that services the population that primarily Nashville General serves, which is a Medicaid, TennCare, Medicare environment. I'm a breast pump provider. So I work with hundreds of moms on a monthly basis from not only the city but around the state and also around the country. And I'm in this universe all day. I've worked with Meharry on both committees on maternal health projects. I've worked with Matthew Walker as a vendor to assist them with their needs. I've worked with the Nashville Health Department with Nashville Strong Babies. We were actually their business partner of the year for the referrals that we sent, because I believe there's an opportunity for the core of Nashville to kind of come together and help the people that have been underserved. My business is always focused on helping those that receive things last, and I think we should have opportunity to bring great services to those that need them most.
Absolutely, I can appreciate that. And so one of the things, Nashville General has been one of the priorities for the Minority Caucus, and with the passage of the I thought about trying to be smart with it, but the big whatever bill that was just passed at the federal level.
Right.
I mean, there are significant concerns as to what it's going to mean for Nashville General and for the populations that we serve, specifically with the cuts to Medicare and Medicaid.
Yes.
And so I'm curious, and obviously we're not necessarily going to know until we see how those cuts are going to affect Tennessee, how that's going to affect Nashville General. But I'm just curious if those are thoughts that have occurred to you, and sort of how you would try and approach this situation that we're in now.
Well, like most everyone else, I utilize ChatGPT, and I put that bill in the system, and I saw that there's an expected minimum 4% cut to reimbursement rates for both Medicare and Medicaid. That's at a minimum. And with the margins already thin, and with reimbursements or collections or reimbursements always a challenge in healthcare, we have to be nimble, and we have to think about how we're going to provide the optimum service and receive a fair reimbursement for those services. So I also own a revenue cycle management business, so I've been in the collecting of Medicare funds, Medicaid funds for a decade, and I've learned quite a bit. It's kind of crazy. Today we're sitting for a reaccreditation audit. Like I'm in this space, and I look and I see that there's a lot of opportunity to help people, but we have to make sure the bones are right. We have to make sure that we start with our ducks in a row, so that we can at a minimum receive what we're owed, and then we can go after more.
Yeah. Perfect. Anything from the committee? Chair Timmons.
Thank you, Chair. As you stated, Nashville General has always been a priority for the Minority Caucus. As Chair of the Minority Caucus, I can say that we have sought out representation on the board that is reflective of the community. And we are wholeheartedly behind Mr. Harvey, who is my Vanderbilt classmate. So we go way back. But someone close to the community who understands the healthcare arena, who understands the population that Nashville General serves, because as we see what's going on the federal level, Nashville General is going to be even more important. It's always been important, but it's going to be even more important source of quality health care for our citizens. And so just really needing that voice on the board that's going to speak for the people, for the small business owners who are in this space. From a business perspective, Mr. Harvey does have a significant business background, finance background, so he understands the numbers and all the analytical stuff, but he also understands people. And so I wholeheartedly support him as the nominee to the board.
Thank you, Chair Timmons. Anything further from the committee? Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you would like to share with the committee?
At the core of me, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I've lived in North Nashville for a very long time. I feel like Nashville General is the equivalent of Bridgestone Arena for North Nashville. It should absolutely be the catalyst for growth and change in this community. And I would love to participate in making that happen.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Seeing nothing further from the committee, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We've got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we also have the Hospital Authority Board reappointment of Robert Miller for a term expiring on September 6, 2030. Mr. Miller, thank you so much for being here. Or rather, Dr. Miller, my apologies. Would you like a parking pass or a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking violation, I'm sorry.
It's more than all right. It's more than all right. Everybody gets one. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes.
And do you serve on any other Metro boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue serving.
You know, I've been a physician in Nashville since 1980. I started my training at hospitals, which included Nashville General. I have a thorough commitment to Nashville's underserved community. I have been a medical director of a free clinic for the last 20 years. Plan to go there, work tonight. I think that the general is key to North Nashville. I think that they are key to the training at Meharry. And my goal is to make the hospital as strong and vibrant as we can, serve the community, and improve opportunities for the Meharry training programs.
Perfect, thank you. And same question to you, sort of just with the implications of the big bullshit bill. Whether sort of what your thinking is along like how that's going to impact and how we're going to try and navigate that for Nashville General.
I think that approaching that extra challenge to the hospital is similar to what we've been trying to do for the last couple of years, which is to reduce costs, to increase the productivity of the hospital, and hope that that will be enough to meet it. Dr. Elders, who's sitting behind me, has done a wonderful job in controlling costs in the hospital, and now we need to do everything we can to get the service lines up that we can bring more patients through the facility. Nashville needs the beds, and I think that if we provide extra services, that will meet that need and be good for the hospital.
Anything from the committee?
Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Glad to do it. You know, I think I've been told I'm the only one that ever volunteered for the board. It took 3 times.
Oh, fair enough. And we definitely do appreciate that. Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you would want to share with the committee?
I don't think so. We just appreciate all the support we've had from Metro Council in the last few years. It's been tremendous.
We'll go with there's nothing further from the committee. We'll go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next is the Human Relation Commission reappointment of Marcus Buggs for a term expiring on July 21st, 2028. This one has been withdrawn.
Correct.
Next, we have the Human Relations Commission reappointment of Dr. Amy Crawford Charlton for a term expiring on July 1st, 2028.
So we're deferring her until the 5th.
To the first meeting in August?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that'll be a one meeting deferral. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Next is also the Human Relations Commission reappointment of Cara Ince for a term expiring on July 21st, 2029. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Neither, but that's okay. It's Kara Ince. I feel your pain with the name.
Yeah, takes all types, right? Thank you so much for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking pass?
Parking violation.
And are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to
No.
today? Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
Well, I just got appointed in February. So I feel like I haven't had an opportunity to really contribute yet. And so, but it's been a great experience so far. I've really enjoyed it. We haven't done a lot yet in my few meetings that I've been a part of, but last night we had a presentation from the Planning Commission about the Unified Housing Strategy, and it was really great conversation, and it was so interesting to hear all the different commissioners' perspectives, and that. So I thought that was sort of the first time that I was able to, have the experience of being on the Human Relations Commission. So it was really energizing, and I look forward to continuing that work.
Perfect. Director Tucker, do you want to speak to this nomination? Or?
Please.
Okay.
No, yes, please reappoint Ms. Kara. We're really excited for her contribution and for what we think she will ultimately contribute to our work. So yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much. Okay, next we also have the Human Relations Commission reappointment of Jeff Teague for a term expiring on August 4th, 2029. Mr. Teague, thank you so much for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation? That's why they're here. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
I do not.
Okay, so tell us a little bit why you wanted to continue to serve.
So I've been on the commission for about a year and a half, and unlike Commissioner Entz, when I first joined, it was when we were dealing with the Arts Commission situation, and I came in like her, not knowing what was going on. And in the time that I was there, I feel like I learned so much. I feel like I was able to contribute to what I think was a successful outcome to kind of not a very pleasant situation for so many people. And now, as she mentioned, we're moving into the Unified Housing Plan, and again, I feel now better prepared to address questions, ask questions, and really make sure that that plan is as comprehensive as it can be, and making sure that it is providing housing and solutions for the most vulnerable parts of Nashville.
And then Director Tucker, same question. Do you want to speak to this nomination?
Love Jeff. As you know, Jeff has mafia connections. Please reappoint him.
Fair enough. And so, just want to say I appreciate the work that the commission is doing, and especially navigating a quite difficult situation and positions to be in, and of navigating everything with arts. So can appreciate your willingness to continue serving after having waded through those waters. So,
My honor.
Yes. Thank you. Anything from the committee? Is there anything that you want to share with us that we haven't asked you?
No, I don't think so. It's been, like, as I said, it's been such an honor, and I've enjoyed it so much. I've learned so much, and I feel like that I have been able, just based on my life in public service, to contribute a lot to the commission, and I hope we can move Nashville forward in a very positive way.
Thank you. If there's nothing further from the committee, we'll go ahead and move to vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We've got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, next is the Metro Action Commission reappointment of Lisa Buggs for a term, or Leslie Buggs for a term expiring on July 1st, 2028. Ms. Buggs, thank you for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking validation, please.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No.
So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue serving.
We are actually in the process of finding a new executive director, and I'm on the committee for that, so I want to see that through. We've been going through this for almost a year now, just trying to make sure that whoever we bring in is going to uphold what we've been trying to do as far as helping the citizens of our county.
Absolutely. Because the work that MAC does is so incredibly important, particularly surrounding early childhood education and Head Start. And so I'm curious about sort of the interplay of MAC's Head Start program and MNPS's pre-K program, and sort of how MAC has been navigating that over the past couple of years, and how you view that partnership and whether or not there's overlap within those programs, if you're able to speak on that.
So MAC is kind of, we're kind of suffering a little bit from enrollment because of pre-K at Metro, but what we've done, we've decided to go ahead and move down to early Head Start. So opening up more early Head Start slots, because pre-K it starts at 3, and everybody doesn't get into pre-K. There are certain limited numbers of slots. they go to those with special needs first, and then it trickles down. So opening up the younger kids spots is what's gonna help the citizens here the most.
And then with the pre-K or not with the, with Max Head Start, early Head Start programs, are there income requirements to qualify?
There are some income requirements as well as multiple other requirements.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, I the work that Mac is doing is phenomenal. Huge supporter and really appreciate your willingness to have served previously and to continue serving. Anything from the committee?
I have a
Ms.
question.
Chair.
Have you all been discussing anything within the context of seeking a new director around the programming, kind of like the question that Chair Prepti asked about childcare on the school side, other supportive programs that you all provide, like social services is getting into kind of workforce development. You all do a lot of workforce development. There's other kinds of examples I could provide. Have you all thought about like where you can align kind of across social services and Metro Action as far as what you're kind of promoting?
So yes, we with our interim director right now, he's working on multiple partnerships. That's the biggest thing we can do right now is get partnerships with multiple agencies. So that's, we have partnerships with MDHA. So just trying to get as many partnerships as we can to kind of head off some of those things.
Okay, thank you.
Are those partnerships consistent with like Power Youth or some of the other programs that you do? Are there any common needs or uses?
They're consistent with Power Youth, but it's more along for lines of helping the whole family. So not just the young kids, but making sure that parents are getting the education that they may need, helping English second language learners, things like that.
Okay, thanks.
Anything further from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you much.
Next, we also have the Metropolitan Action Commission reappointment of, hold up, I'm gonna get it. Kenita. There we go. Kenita Cover for a term expiring on July 1st, 2027, or 2028 rather. Thank you so much for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation? Yeah, we're gonna clap that, yes. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
So Metro Action Commission, their mission actually aligns with my core values as far as like serving the community. As Leslie mentioned, we are in the process of finding a new executive director. I actually serve as the chair on that committee, so it's been a lot of hard work, creating partnerships as well as uncomfortable relationships to get this next executive director in line. And it has been a long time coming, and I definitely hope to see it through as we have currently started that search.
Perfect. And I guess what are some of the things that you all are looking for the next executive director?
Just to be able to understand what works, also building partnerships, but making the right decisions when it comes to partnerships. Although we want to build partnerships within the community, we also want to make sure that the partnerships aligns with the mission of Metro Action Commission. Also, like with that, just making the next 5-year strategic plan.
I like that. Okay. Anything from the committee? Is there anything that you want to share that we haven't asked you?
No.
Okay. Perfect. If there's nothing further from the committee, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Yes.
Next, also to the Metropolitan Action Commission is the reappointment of Joseph Mitchell for a term expiring on July 1st, 2028. Mitchell, thank you so much for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation? Parking validation. Okay, there you go. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
They've all been mentioned.
Yes.
I think I've served the longest on the board, being reappointed. So mainly those are the reasons that's been stated already.
And so you mentioned that you're one of the longest serving commissioners for this. Curious as to what are some of the lessons that you've learned and want to continue to implement during your time on the commission?
Well, the cohesiveness, I've learned a lot from the staff at the Metropolitan Commission. Very well, we're very fortunate to have very good staff and leaders at this board that has made Metro Action what it is today. So, and hopefully we continue to rely on their leadership to continue and make it no longer a state recognized and federal recognized organization.
And then something that also just occurred to me is that MAC could potentially also be impacted by the federal budget bill that was just passed. And literally that thought just occurred to me. So if you don't have an answer to this question, that's fair. But have you all contemplated sort of how to navigate the potential impact of federal funding? Because I know that MAC does receive a significant chunk of its funding through the federal government.
Daro has investigated or applied for numerous grants, and he's looking into more grants to help us navigate through this crisis. And it is a crisis at this point in time. So he's letting us know when these grants will be in fruition or come to pass. So that's what he's doing now.
Thank you. Anything further from the committee? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also to the Metro Action Commission is the reappointment of Veronica Uribe for a term expiring on June 30th, 2028. Ms. Uribe, would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
A parking validation.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, sir.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No.
So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
I feel like I was here yesterday. I believe I fill in someone's shoes or seat. So it's been a little bit over a year. I feel like I can do more. I mean, I just kind of learning all the roles, how everything works. And I was appointed to the Finance Committee, and there's going to be some changes there too.
Yeah.
Drastic changes.
Yes.
So the committee will be filled with board members. So there's going to be a lot of, opportunities to really get our hands wet and be able to serve.
Perfect. I can appreciate that. And so you mentioned being on the budget committee, and so sort of same question that I previously asked about the federal budget bill and impacts to MAC and how you're going to think about trying to navigate those drastic changes that could potentially be coming.
Correct. And there's so many moving parts, and with the new executive director, I guess that will be coming on board and all that will change.
Exactly. And I will say, being a District 25 resident, you were absolutely qualified and it's amazing to have you on the commission. So thank you again for your willingness to continue serving in this role in this capacity. So very much appreciated. Anything further from the committee? All right, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Nashville Music, Film, and Entertainment Commission reappointment of Timothy Reed Jr. for a term expiring on June 20th, 2029. Mr. Reed, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
would
for having me.
you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking validation, please.
And are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, sir.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No, I don't.
Okay, perfect. So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
I'm a music business veteran for 35 years. You know, it's been my whole career centered around that, and my whole life centered around the entertainment business as a whole, from being connected with family. So it's an amazing opportunity. I've been in this incredible city for 3.5 years, and I was approached about serving last year, and I was in a short term from, you know, in progress term, and it's been an amazing experience. Moving from Los Angeles to here, and so having, you know, extensive experience in the business, as well as being in a city that's, you know, exponentially growing, that, you know, tagline is Music City, just, you know, piqued my interest. And the company I've been with for 11 years recruited me to move out here and bring some of my expertise to add value to the company's operation out here. And this is, you know, that being an amazing experience, just wanted to continue to, you know, expand and help the city in any way I can to highlight not only the music business, but the entertainment business as a whole.
Absolutely. And understanding that you came onto this commission around the time, separate entities, but around the time where there was a lot of uproar with the Arts Commission and with the arts community here in Nashville. I'm curious if there are any lessons or particular struggles that you face in your last year on the commission that you'll utilize moving forward to sort of administer during your time on the commission.
I wouldn't necessarily peg it as a struggle, but I think it's just a renewed focus. This is, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, a younger commission. So it's just been, you know, over the course of the year, formulating approach, vision, you know, touch points, and, you know, roles to fill, budgets to establish and confirm. So, you know, those are just, you know, the process, if you will, of strengthening and really making and helping build a functional commission to do the work.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Anything from the committee? Yes, Chair.
I have one question on
Yes.
the. I mean, do you all feel like, because like your meetings aren't recorded, and, you know, because you were kind of forming and kind of moving forward, and we had all the conversations around, you know, the executive director process and that kind of thing. Do you feel like you're on a better trajectory as a group now that we've gotten through some of those hurdles?
I would say yes, because the picture is much clearer than it was when I first joined. So yes, progress is made, and we're at the doorstep now of going to the next phase,
Okay,
which
great.
is exciting.
Thank you.
Anything further from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we also have the Nashville Music, Film, and Entertainment Commission reappointment of Willie J. Sims Jr. for a term expiring on June 20th, 2029. Mr. Sims, thank you so much for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
I don't need either one, man.
Fair enough. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am.
Perfect. And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to today? Okay, perfect. So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
Man, I want to continue to serve because I just want to actually see this through, and from the beginning, I want to see it actually get established and actually start working. And we've been doing a lot of trying to get it all going. So it'd be cool to actually see this thing rolling.
Yeah.
This is Music City. Entertainment is a big part of the city brand, so this commission should be a big part of the city commissions. Technically.
Yeah, right. I can definitely appreciate that, and I definitely think that there's something to be said for the continuity of like that institutional knowledge. So again, just thank you for your willingness to continue to serve. So you mentioned sort of the work of getting it off its feet and getting those processes and everything in place. Could you touch on that a little bit more and sort of like what you want to see out of the commission?
It's been pretty hard, man. You know, a whole lot of starts and stops, and I guess it's just growing pains of starting something new.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I'm not sure, I wasn't at the last meeting, but like, hopefully we get the support from all of y'all that we need to keep this going, because we can't do it without y'all actually caring about it. Us caring about it is not as important as y'all caring about it too. So hopefully y'all do as much as we do. And yeah, this could be really good, man. It could be really good for the city to have somebody actually looking out for the city, you know. The state looks out for the whole state. Memphis works because they have one that looks out for Memphis. And it's interesting that Nashville is just really getting this back going. Yeah, like, wow, it's almost a no-brainer that we should have a well-functioning entertainment commissional situation going.
I can definitely appreciate that. And again, thank you for your willingness to continue serving in this capacity. Anything from the committee? Seeing none, is there anything that you want to share with us that I haven't asked?
Tell all of your colleagues, give us what we need to succeed. And for real, like,
honestly.
Yeah, like, don't make this be pointless, man. I don't want to be wasting years of my life trying to get this together and then we don't get the support we need from the city. Please, give us what we need. This is for everybody. It'll work. It'll work.
Exactly. Again, thank you for your willingness and for and your commitment and for always let us know what you need.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we don't get what we need, I'm blaming you. No, I'm just playing.
No, I
Thank y'all
appreciate
so
it,
much.
of
Appreciate
course.
y'all.
Anything further from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We've got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay, next is also the National Music, Film, and Entertainment Commission reappointment of Hazel Smith for a term expiring on June 20th, 2029. I'll say, yeah. Is Ms. Smith here?
No, she is not. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
We're gonna defer her until the first week in August as well.
Okay.
Move the
Yeah.
Second.
This motion on the floor is for a one-meeting deferral. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for a one-meeting deferral. Okay, next is the National Music, Film, and Entertainment Commission reappointment of the Honorable Jeff Syracuse for a term expiring on June 20th, 2029. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking validation, thank you so much.
Here you go.
Appreciate it.
And just for the record, you are a Davidson County resident?
Yes, sir.
And you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to here today?
No, sir.
So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue to serve.
Well, 27 years ago, I moved to Nashville to get my music degree and also support working creatives. And so that was the fundamental reason I moved here. And especially moving into the public policy space, and once I got elected, I always felt a natural passion, especially when I got to wear both hats, so to speak. So supporting working creatives is something that I think has a greater need now than it did 70 years ago, for sure, when Music Row came to be in Nashville. Music industry was really growing. We're now in a place where big city, big problems, and we need to be able to support those that in a word, incubation. That's what this commission needs to be doing, to help incubate the working creatives on both the film and TV side and the music side. So I want to be there to help our creatives succeed in the city.
Perfect, and I very much appreciate that. I'm curious, what have been some of the challenges that you all have experienced on the commission thus far, and sort of where you want to go from here?
Sure. So certainly you all have experienced this as well, with the legislative cleanup that finally did pass, which is great. And so, as you heard from the other commissioner, that we're ready. We're at that. That was a good analogy. We're at the doorstep now and ready to walk through. Like any nonprofit organization, so to speak, you have volunteer board members, but you need that executive that's going to execute the vision that the board sets. And so we're ready for that. So I'm hoping that HR does commence with the hiring process soon, and we'll be ready to rock and roll.
Perfect, appreciate that. Anything from the committee? Seeing nothing further from the committee. Anything? I was about to say, lay on the abuse. Come on.
How's Joey?
Joey's fantastic. Don't ask me how a piano player raised a rocket scientist, but
Yeah. Oh, perfect. But again, thank you for your willingness to continue serving.
Thank you.
Seeing nothing further from the committee, we'll move to a vote. Yes. So those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Great to see you all. Thank you.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to see you.
Okay, next is our board and commission confirmations. These are folks, or person that we have previously interviewed. It's the Human Relations Commission appointment of Alan Sloan for a term expiring on April 18th, 2027. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Okay, and then last item, I did want to discuss a proposed rule change that I've been working on for lack of a better phrase, for a council recess. So in looking over sort of the trajectory of things with public hearings and planning, the two thoughts that I have currently, which would really be for next calendar year, was looking at having a recess during the entirety of August, or looking at having a recess that is the last meeting of July and the first meeting of August, just given how things line up both with the planning commission, but also with MNPS and schools starting. For those of us who have, I say those of us, I'm not included in that, but for colleagues who have school-age children, sort of just taking all of that into consideration. So just based off of the way that our discussion goes here today, is how I'll draft and file the rules change, but wanted to raise that and sort of just have a discussion and get some initial thoughts from folks as to, as a committee, as to what we would want to see out of this potential rules change, if this is something that we would want to see change within the rules. But yeah, so sort of looking at that, because I know we go through budget season, we don't have any public hearings in June, and so that first meeting in July is really heavy with public hearings, and understanding that regardless of the way that this rule change would be filed, that there would also not be a public hearing for August, which is something that I've raised cursorily with the planning commission, or with planning staff at least, and so sort of just wanted to gauge thoughts, initial reactions to that, and go from there if anybody has any. It's your tunes.
So I have been a longtime proponent of a council recess. I know that other councils in other cities have them. What has been the insight from our legal counsel in terms of being able to do that? I know there's been some work around the January, not having a meeting that first Tuesday in January. So what's been the advice from our legal counsel in terms of being able to have a recess without changing the charter?
So we've discussed it cursorily, and I am of the opinion that the charter does enable us to do it through a rules change, because the particular language in the charter is that council can only have regular meetings on the first and third Tuesday of every month. It does not require meetings. It doesn't require us to hold those meetings. It says that those are the only time that we can hold regular meetings. And the charter also provides us with the authority to call special meetings at any point that have to just be publicly noticed. But that's the way that I read and interpret the charter. I know that there are differing legal opinions on that, but I would defer to Director Darby if my interpretation is the consensus of legal staff for council.
I don't think that you and I have had the opportunity to speak about this potential rule change. I, however, also have that same interpretation. That is the interpretation that we relied upon to have the one meeting break for the first meeting in January. And there were some other reasons for that, but the legal interpretation was the same. I think, Councilmember Toombs, you probably recall going before the commission, the Charter Revision Commission, on which sits several former legal directors who carry a different opinion. So I'll leave it at that, but I read it to also mean that it's an only, not a must.
And I will add to that in a very respectful way that I felt like there was a disconnect with the commission, that the folks on there had served quite a while ago. The council has consistently changed. We're very different from 1963. We're very different from 20 years ago in the workload that we have. I think going 12 months straight with no break is just unrealistic for anybody. And I don't think that does a disservice to our constituents. I actually think it makes us better for our constituents if we are pouring from a full cup as opposed to a dry, cracked one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Chair.
I agree with Councilmember Toombs. And I think like the timing that you're looking at is really good timing. And one of the consistent concerns I've had over the last 6 years is that the first meeting in August always conflicts with National Night Out Against Crime. And that's a countywide event. There's so many of our residents that are participating in that, and I've never been able to attend. And I think that has been a challenge. I know I could have made the personal choice to not come to the meeting and then gone to that, but that doesn't seem like a responsible thing to do. And so if you're looking at meeting timing, I think the meeting timing that you're considering, that first meeting in August, would be a really good one, in particular because I think school starts on that, that week, and so that is just challenging in general for the folks that have children, and then also anybody that's involved in like their school, first day of school activities. Like I try to go to my elementary schools and those kinds of things. So there's just a lot going on that particular day, and so if you have to narrow it to one date, then that school starting date would be great. But I know parents probably would like a little bit more of a window to be able to navigate like back to school period for their families. So.
Question.
Yes.
I know we discussed it a little bit earlier, but I'm not sure I fully caught it. In terms of the first meeting in January that we didn't have, what was it exactly that allowed us to do that? And my understanding is that was essentially the vice mayor's prerogative to do that. Was there anything beyond her prerogative that led to us not meeting then? And if it was just her prerogative, then couldn't it also be her prerogative to not hold another meeting?
I'm not sure if we did a rule change for
I feel
that.
like there's a rule change, but
I think that might have been, like, I've got a vague memory
Maybe there
of
was,
a
and I
potential
just
rule
don't
change.
remember.
Because we've essentially done it the entirety of this term, so I think it was something that, a rule change that we made very early on. But again, vague memory, the past 2 years feel like 5, so, yeah.
I think we made that change.
I remember having a discussion about it in here, I really did, so I think it was a rule change.
Okay.
I would support the change, because you do get a lot going on, between all your hearings and planning and everything else.
Was the rule change then, if a rule change actually took place, was that specific to that date, or did it just give the vice mayor the authority to say we're not meeting?
Specific to the January date.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure. Go ahead.
Yes.
46.2, no council meeting or committee meeting shall be held on the first Tuesday of the month of January. The third Tuesday of the month of January shall be considered the first meeting of the month for the purposes of these rules of procedure, and shall be the only regular meeting during the month of January.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm just going to say that I have said 3 terms, 2.5 terms now, that I don't know how anybody with a full-time job does this job without losing their mind and tearing their hair out. Between constituent services and managing bills and committees and community engagement, I don't know how they do it. So I think a break is okay. I had real mixed feelings about it when we addressed it within the charter. I don't disagree that it should be a rule. So, but I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV.
So I guess then the question is, do we have any strong feelings one way as to whether or not it's the last meeting of July and first meeting of August, or the 2 meetings that we have in August?
Let me address that. I think that when we do this, we need to be fair to our constituents. And if we share with them, we have a lot of parents now that are on the council and that have young children. And if we take that vantage point, we say, let's help our families get ready for school. Let's help them spend that quality time with their kids as they're moving up. I think that that's important.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a message. I also think we need to be really clear with our constituents, and this I think would be individual. You're still going to have constituent services that are going to pop up.
Yeah.
So that still happens. This is essentially giving your staff a break, and Lord knows they probably need it, right? And so and they have kids. So I prefer that time frame than taking out another public hearing.
Yeah.
So I would err on the side of the end of July and the beginning of August.
Ditto. I think that's better because it leads into school, and I teach, so it helps. I know if
But
you
he's
want to
not
take some time
selfish,
off, it also gives you time off right before school, and then that first week or two, it gives all the parents that opportunity to be with their kids. I think it's perfect timing.
Any further discussion? Well, I very much appreciate this discussion, and I will connect with the council office to get started on drafting this. Again, it'll be something that we'll be looking towards for the next calendar year and subsequent years, but excited to get moving on this. So thanks, everybody. Is there anything further that anybody wishes to discuss?
Thank you.
Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And without objection, we do now stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.